Hi, I'm Larry Puckett, the DCC Guy. Well, welcome to the third iteration of the UK Monday series here on the DCC Guy channel. And today I want to introduce you to the Econami decoders from Soundtrax. And these are specifically made for UK Steam. There also is a UK diesel version. And in a future video, I'll show you some features of the UK diesel and show you how to install one in the Great Western Railway's Flying Banana diesel railcar. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, for those of you who were wondering why there was no UK Monday video last Monday, it was simply because I got behind and didn't have time to produce two videos in the same week. So, as I said in the first video in this series, I really may not have time to do these every week. It might be every other week, or it might be only once a month. It all depends on my schedule and time constraints. So keep that in mind, but I will try to keep these on a reasonably regular basis. However, I do have something coming up in late November that is going to probably get in the way of me doing a video one of those weeks. And what is that? Well, I'm going to be coming over to England and attending the Warley train show. So if you're going to be at Warley for the big national train show on November the 26th and 27th, and you see me wandering around, feel free to come up to me, say hello, shake my hand, whatever you want to do, but be aware that I will be there. You can probably find me hanging out with the DCC Concepts guys at their display, but I'll also be walking the aisles looking for good deals and the latest products. And unfortunately, since I'm going to be there from the 24th through the following Friday, I probably won't have time to get a video out that week for the UK Monday series. So be aware of that, but come on by, find me at Warley, and let's get together. I will be there, and I'll be wearing this shirt right here with the DCC Guy logo on it. There's only two in existence that I know of, and I own both of them. So if you see somebody wearing this shirt, it's me. Or I might be wearing this Model Railroader magazine logo shirt. So keep an eye out for either version of that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Econami decoder. And here's my thumb next to it to give you a sort of a reference for the size. It's fairly small. It's what you might call a typical in-scale size decoder, but it's rated at 1 amp, so it works great in most HO scale locomotives available today. Now, they also make a 21-pin version of this, so that is another option. And I have shown on a number of occasions how to install these. I did a video on installing this in a Great Western 060 PT. I used this in my 060 tank switcher. I've used this in a number of others that I haven't done videos on. I used the 21-pin version in a Southern 060, and also the diesel version I used in the Great Western Flying Banana. So we'll be taking a look at some of those, and I'll put a link to the ones that I've already done above me here on my left, on your right, at the top of the screen, and also I'll try to include them at the end of the video. So basically then you've got a number of wires coming out here. So this does not come with a plug on it, it's just straight wires. So you'll have to add an 8-pin plug if that's what your locomotive requires. If you're an 18-pin, well, you're out of luck because these are not available in an 18-pin package, only in the hardwired version or the 21-pin version. And of course, one thing you can do, and that I will probably show you how to do in a future video, is I'm planning on pulling the electronics out of a DAPL Mogul and installing this in by hardwiring it in place of that nifty little pull-out tray that they use. And hopefully I'll be able to get this in along with a Stay Alive circuit in order to provide better operation of that locomotive. I also am hoping to find a way to put in a little bit more weight once I get all the rest of that stuff out of there. But the great thing is these will fit in a lot of tight situations. As you will see if you look at that video that I did on my hardest installation yet, which was in the Great Western 060 saddle tank locomotive. I also was able to fit these into the pannier tanks on the Bachmann PTs, so you can really get these in a lot of tight situations. And I've used these so far in a large number of different locomotives, largely or primarily the pannier tank locos, but I've also got them in my Dean's Good, I've got them in my Collett's Good, got this in my King class locomotive, and I've put these into my Southern Railway Bullet class Light Pacific so far. I'll be putting this into a Merchant Navy when I get time. So there's a whole plethora of locomotives that these will work with, and I'm going to show you why here in just a second. So you have the option then of either hardwiring the decoder in to existing wiring on the locomotive, or you can attach an 8-pin plug here in order to use it with an 8-pin socket. That's still available in a lot of locomotives. Now at the other end here you have the two purple wires that go to the speaker, plus a brown and a green wire that go to the additional function outlets. Okay, what I want to do next is we'll take a quick look at some of the features that this decoder offers, and then I'll show you some of the locomotives that I've already installed these in, and you'll be able to hear what the sounds are like. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the various features here, and this is right out of the Econami packing materials, so you can take a look at that once you buy one, but let's go over them here. So you can see under the decoder features, first there's a number of things compatible with NMRA standards and RPs. It has 28 function support, so all 28 NMRA functions. Flex map function mapping allows you to remap the different functions to various other buttons on your throttle so that you're not stuck with the basic format. Hyperdrive 2 Advanced Motor Control is a neat way of working with the locomotive so that you can really customize the operation of the locomotive. You've got your standard 3-point curves, speed curves, and the user adjustable speed curves. Great way, again, of customizing the operation of the loco. And the motor load is synced with the auto exhaust feature. So you can get the sound of the locomotive when it's first starting up under a load. It's going to be louder, and then it's going to decrease. The exhaust sounds will decrease as it starts moving and the load decreases somewhat. If we look at the specifications on the right, the 1 amp maximum motor stall current, most locomotives today are well under that value. The audio amplifier built in is a 1 watt 8 ohm audio amplifier, so your typical 8 ohm 1 watt speakers are going to work with this very well, so be aware of that. The DCC track voltage, anywhere from 7.5 volts to 22 volts. There's just a ton of sound effects with 5 different exhaust chuffs, whistles, air pumps, vacuum pump, cylinder cocks, bells, dynamos, couplers, buffers, water stops, blow down, rod clank, brakes, and more. So let's take a look at the sounds then. Okay, now this is just a list of the various sound effects available, some of which are not appropriate for the UK, but this is a listing of all the sounds on the Econami. And you have to remember that the Econami has all of these sound effects. It doesn't matter whether or not you're using it for a 462, an LNER 462, or a Great Western 262, the sounds are all there. So what we have here then is a listing of the various ones. Now, as far as the whistles, there's in most cases you'll have the main whistle and a shunt whistle available here on this decoder. And they have several different versions, as you'll see in a minute. The bell is not going to be used in the UK for the most part. King George V, I believe it was, King class, had a bell put on it when it visited the US, and still has it today. The exhaust chuffs, there's various exhaust chuffs. Air pumps, in this case, you'd be using the vacuum pump that's available and is the default for the UK steam. Dynamos for headlight operations, probably not used in most UK settings, particularly for steam. The blower, the side rod clanks, cylinder cocks, the coupler clank, I believe that would be your buffers would be there. The brake squeal, the brake release sounds, the Johnson bar would be your reverser, a blowdown sound for the steam locomotives, the blower draft, water stop so that you can do a water fill when you pull into the station. So finally at the bottom is the guard's whistle in replace of the all aboard, followed by the sounds of the coach doors. And you can select how many coach door slams you want or whether you want them turned off completely. So a lot of really nice sounds available. Some of these work automatically in the background. Others are features that you can actually control with your throttles. What I want to look at next then are the specific exhausts. So let's look at the exhaust Chuffs selects. Options here, we have and these are actual recordings of locomotives that Soundtracks has made. And we have a GWR 262. I've used this in addition to the 262s. I've used it for my 060s and also for my 260, I believe. You also have an option below that of a medium sound chuff. That's recorded from a BR Standard Class 5 460. You also have a BR Standard Class 4 260. So you have two options for a medium chuff and then a heavy chuff, the Stanier 280 8F, and the LNER A4 Class 462. And this I found very useful for use on my Mallard and for my West Country Class 462s, the Southern Railway. That works fine. You also have the option of a 2 or a 3-cylinder exhaust here, various articulated option. And then finally down below, the different types of whistles, again, recorded from the prototype locomotives. So the Great Western 262 main and shunt whistles, the Peckett 060T Sir Gomer, the Attraction engine single chime, the BR Standard Class 5, the Stanier Class 8F, the BR Class 4, the and DJR Class 7F whistle, the LNER A4 Class recorded off of Sir Nigel Grassley, the Festinaug double Fairley main and shunt, the 262T lid main and shunt, BR Standard Class 7, LNER single chimes, and the Southern Railway single chime with a West Country short. So I used this particular one on my Southern Railway West Country Class Battle of Britain locomotives and also on the Merchant Navy locomotives. So various of these locomotive whistles will sound very much like whistles that were used on other rail lines. You probably can find one of these whistles that's going to work for you on your prototype locomotive. So now that we've looked at the various sounds that are available for you to use, let's go ahead and take a look and listen to some here on the Piedmont Southern that I've got set up ready to run. Before we go on, I want to ask you to take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It's simple, easy, and free. All you have to do is hit that little red subscribe button, and when the little bell comes up, click on it and click all. Okay, so the first locomotive I want to show you is one of the Hornby Bullard Light Pacifics, the Blackmoor Vale. This was produced back around 2000, 2001, something like that. And it runs beautifully. I bought this from Rails of Sheffield on their pre-owned section. They said it was like new, and it was. When it arrived, it looked like it had just come off of the ship from China. So it was in beautiful condition, and it runs that well. The other locomotive that I will show you is right here, is a Hornby Grassley A4 Mallard. So I had wanted this for some time, and it appeared also on the Rails of Sheffield pre-owned listings. So I snatched it up real quick because it runs just like brand new. And both of these I've converted to DCC using the Econami ECO-100 decoder. So I'm going to have to switch to a different microphone so that you can hear the sounds better. And that's going to mean that you won't be able to hear me as well, because the microphone will be focused on the locomotives instead of on me. So we'll listen to both. Now, one thing I want to point out, I used the same sounds for both of these. They are both using the LNER A4 sounds, and I used them on the Mallard here. I also used it on the Bullitt Pacific. Now, when you're setting up the sounds, you can adjust them a bit to individualize each locomotive. And part of that is just due to the differences in the size of the drivers, but you can also change the sounds of the volume of the side rods clanking. You can change the volumes of the chuffs. A lot of different things that you can do to make them sound just a bit different and get that slightly different sound that you do get from these two. But I will point out that Oliver Bullitt, before he worked for the Southern Railway, worked for Sir Nigel Gresley at the LNER. So he was there when the A4 class was being developed. And so I can't help but think that some of what he learned there carried over to the development of these Southern Railway Light Pacifics as well. Okay, let me go ahead and switch microphones and we'll listen to some sounds. Okay, what I want to do is start by just listening to some of the basic sounds. So we'll listen to the whistle. So that's the Southern Railway whistle there. And that's the Southern Railway shunting whistle. Now, this is the cylinder cocks being opened to blow out water from the cylinders before the locomotive starts running. So you're always going to want to do that. Okay, let's go ahead and listen to the guard whistle and then the coach doors slamming. So you can change the number of slams that you get, or none at all. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let's start it up and run it forward and listen to the sound of the exhaust. Okay, let's go ahead and listen to some of the sounds on the Mallard. Okay, so here we go with blow out the cylinders. Give a warning that we're about to move the locomotive and start forward. Okay, next we're going to take a listen to a Great Western Pannier tank 6424. And we'll reverse him and listen to the brakes as we come back to a halt. Also, you can hear every fourth chuff the sound of the vacuum pump. And this is the blowdown. It's not turned up as loud as on the other locomotives. And this is a water fill. I also don't have this one turned up all that loud. Now that is a playable whistle. It's not just a one blast like you get with some of the others. Now one thing I will tell you that I did with these two, with the Mallard and with this Bullard Pacific, is the speaker is installed in the boiler directly under the smokestack opening. So you're getting sound coming up out of the smokestack as well as directed down towards the track and then out to the sides. So it gets away from that sound coming out of the tender effect that you so often have to live with unless you're willing to put two speakers in your locomotives. But when I get around to it, I will show you how to install decoders in both of these two locomotives, both of these two Pacifics, and I'll show you how to install the speaker in the boilers instead of in the tenders. Well, that's a wrap for today's video. So the next time you're looking for an inexpensive but very good option for your UK steam locomotives or your UK diesel locomotives, take a look at the Soundtrax Econami series. I find them to be economical. They're about half what I would have to pay for a Loc-Sound or Zemo decoder with the same type of sound package on it for my UK steam fleet or my diesel. So it really does save me a lot of money. I presume it's going to do the same for you. And like I said, there's a number of different dealers in the UK that stock these. So just check around. I'm pretty sure that Rails of Sheffield does. I don't think Hatton's has them. But I'm sure there's lots of other dealers in the UK that do stock these. So take a look for these, and also take a look at the website that I gave you the link to in the description that has the actual sounds of the whistles and the various locomotive sounds, and you can listen to those and see how well they would fit your particular needs. So have a great week, and we'll see you here on Friday with another video from the DCC guy. And don't forget to find me at Warley.